Stop for a second. What you're about to hear may sound exaggerated or even absurd, but imagine something simple for a moment. What would happen to you if artificial intelligence disappeared from your life tomorrow? No prompts, no instant answers, no perfect solution in a single click. Today, I'm going to say something you don't expect to hear from someone who talks about AI. If you overuse it, you risk losing yourself. This is not clickbait. This is not a distant future scenario. This process has already begun, and it may already be affecting you. Stay until the end, because this is not a video about technology. This is a video about you. Stop using artificial intelligence. Yes, exactly that. Otherwise, there's a real risk you may start losing yourself. It may sound strange coming from someone who talks about AI and shares content about it. Many of you have already watched such videos. Many more will, but this time, my goal is different. On one side, I want to open a conversation. On the other, I want to warn you about the personal risks of using artificial intelligence, risks that can quietly turn into a serious problem for you. Today, I'll walk you through 5 or 6 critical reasons that deserve your attention right now. This affects not only you, but also your children and the younger generation. I'll speak from personal experience. I'll also rely on facts confirmed by the scientific community. This is a discussion piece, an introductory video about something almost no one talks about. I haven't seen videos that seriously address the personal dangers of AI use, what we should already be questioning, and what boundaries must exist to avoid losing ourselves and remain healthy, thinking, and developing individuals. Let's begin. Have you noticed how much life has changed over the past 4 years? Today, when a task appears or a question comes up, you open tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or similar systems. You type a prompt, press one button, and receive an answer. On the surface, it's fast and convenient. But beneath the hype around these tools lies a deeper pattern. People are constantly searching for ways to make life easier. Part of this is how the brain works. It naturally looks for the simplest path. But at the same time, this tendency creates a serious issue. It's called cognitive paralysis. We're familiar with it on a physical level. Think about what happens when you train regularly, walking, exercising, running, going to the gym. Then imagine getting sick or breaking an arm. You feel how quickly your physical condition fades. The brain works the same way. It's a muscle. And when we delegate our thinking and everyday problem solving to artificial intelligence, that muscle weakens. Gradually, it shrinks. I notice this myself every single day. In the past, as a marketer, you had to think through ideas, texts, integrations, creative angles. Now, the first instinct is to open a familiar interface, your favorite neural network, and let it handle the task. That's the trap, because tomorrow, this habit may cost you your job. Not because the tools exist, but because you've outsourced something essential, your own thinking. Right now, researchers are studying this phenomenon under the concept of cognitive offloading. Scientists are analyzing data from the past 3 years to understand how the human brain adapts to modern technology. This is fresh research, and I strongly recommend paying attention to it. And this leads to the next consequence of constant AI use, the erosion of critical thinking. When we interact with a machine, we tend to trust it fully, especially if it hasn't failed us before. But we all know that systems like GPT and similar models make mistakes. They produce inaccuracies and illusions. Giving a wrong answer once isn't the real danger. The real problem begins when a rational person stops questioning and starts accepting machine-generated information without thinking. This also forms a dangerous habit, blind trust, and the gradual loss of critical thinking. At the very least, information should be double-checked, one neural pathway against another. Ideally, it should be tested within a broader information space. What matters most here is that our thinking weakens when we stop working in this direction. Everyone talks about the dangers of fast food. But today, our entire environment has become fast food. We consume short, clipped content at high speed on TikTok, and I'll make a separate video about that. We consume information just as quickly through artificial intelligence. We enter, ask a question, receive an answer, and leave. What's missing in this process? Depth, research, immersion, the brain's ability to analyze, understand, and form conclusions. This is the next major issue. We spend almost no time engaging with a task. We get instant results, and as a result, analytical thinking suffers, one of the most important functions of the human mind. Unfortunately, our neural pathways begin moving in the wrong direction. We stop questioning facts, we stop doubting inputs, and this slowly weakens our intellect. Try reflecting on this right now. When was the last time you questioned an AI-generated answer? When did you last verify it with another source or decide not to use certain information at all? The absence of growth in this area gradually turns us into simple transmission devices, machines whose role is only to pass information along without processing it. In reality, we're becoming the very agents people talk about today, except our role is primitive. Receive a request, pass it to an AI system, get a response, forward it back. That original recipient could be a client, a child, a family member, a friend, anyone. Do you see the problem? It's unsettling. Maybe it's not critical yet. The time frame is still short. There may still be time to change something. I don't have a clear solution right now. Most of the studies I've read focus on identifying the problem rather than offering concrete answers. But there are 3 more crucial points that need attention today. And the next one is creativity. Artificial intelligence helps me a lot in creative work. As an author, a content creator, especially when designing video covers or preparing certain materials. But if I'm honest, I'm also digging myself into a trap. I save time today, but I grow dependent. And tomorrow, I may completely lose the ability to do that part of the work myself. Think about generating new advertising concepts or coming up with original ideas for YouTube. Many creators now refuse to think from scratch, delegating creativity to machines. And by doing so, they lose the skill itself. Creativity is also a muscle. It can be trained. And without it, we stop being thinking, inventive people. The deeper issue is this. When originality disappears, a new era emerges, a template era. Everything begins to look the same, built from patterns, nothing truly new. What makes humans unique? The ability to create something unexpected, something non-standard. When we rely on tools to be creative for us, when we outsource imagination to machines, we strip humanity of what makes it different. The unusual, the interesting, the unfamiliar. The world becomes formulaic. Is that a good thing? That's the question. I don't think it is. And right now, it feels like we're digging a very deep gap. I don't see a clear endpoint here. The generation that follows us will be so deeply embedded in this technology that functioning without it may become impossible. Do you have friends who already talk to artificial intelligence using voice instead of text? At that point, AI is no longer just a service. It becomes a companion. Think about the movie Her, where the main character communicates with a voice assistant, develops emotional attachment to it, and the story unfolds from there. That film illustrates a future where the line between human connection and artificial interaction quietly disappears. This is exactly how we begin to lose contact with the real world. The more we talk to artificial intelligence, the less we talk to real people. And, step by step, human connection starts to erode. The comparison may sound rough, but if you zoom out and look at it honestly, it carries weight. I notice this in myself. I share my problems with AI. I think things through with it, and not always with real people. I never considered this a risk before because I trusted artificial intelligence completely. But now I feel that my connection to reality is weakening. We are facing an issue we simply didn't anticipate. We didn't just gain a tool for work or business automation. We gained an assistant we can become psychologically dependent on. When you feel bad, you usually talk to someone. When a problem appears, you ask for advice. When things get complicated, you look for support. Now imagine all of that suddenly disappearing. Dependence comes in many forms. Psychology is not my field, but I know this much from personal experience. When ChatGPT went offline for a few days, remember, about 6 months ago, overall productivity in certain areas dropped sharply. At the same time, social media activity around this outage exploded. That reaction said everything. AI is no longer just a working instrument, it has become a source of psychological reliance. Without it, many people struggle to function at the same level. It's uncomfortable to hear this, but it's better to confront it now, before we fully surround ourselves with wearable AI devices that feed information directly into our glasses, our ears, or eventually our brains. The next 2 points concern every one of us. These are subtle things, hard to notice. I'll try to guide you toward them. When I first saw this clearly during my research, the scale of the unnoticed problem became obvious. Every time we ask AI for an answer, in what way do we give up a part of ourselves? Why explore something new, experiment, and fail when you can access massive datasets, ask the right question, and avoid mistakes altogether? From a business perspective, that sounds perfect. From a lifestyle perspective, it also seems efficient. Why waste time? Why fail? Why struggle? If you can do everything correctly on the first try, because mistakes are part of learning, they are essential. Failure helps us remember. It forces adaptation. It builds confidence for the next attempt. When new attempts disappear, when mistakes vanish, we lose one of the most fundamental human skills, the ability to learn and grow. And there is one more unusual but critical point. Artificial intelligence doesn't just replace effort. It begins to suppress us on a psychological level. It sounds paradoxical. How could this be true? But the mechanism is simpler than it seems. Picture the situation again where you suddenly don't have access to GPT, ChatGPT, or any other AI tool. The first thing that appears is hesitation. You start doubting your own actions. That doubt quickly turns into frustration and sadness. AI quietly reduces your confidence because once the tool is gone, fear takes over. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of being judged for the wrong decision. And the most troubling part is that this effect builds slowly over time. You've probably heard similar examples. Some people rely on certain substances to feel confident in intimate situations, and without them, they believe they can't function. Yet if those substances had never been used, everything would be fine. The issue is psychological. Artificial intelligence works in a similar way. This magic pill slowly undermines trust in your own abilities. Try spending a few days without AI and simply observe how you feel. The experience is revealing. By the end of this video, I won't give you a universal action plan, and that's intentional. How to work with AI is deeply personal. We all use it differently. We work in different industries. Some roles demand creativity, others routine. Some people rely heavily on automation, others barely touch it, but there are core principles that apply to everyone. Stay grounded in yourself. Put your own thinking first, and always consider the long-term consequences. If I solve this task with AI today, what does that do to me tomorrow? If I rely on these tools constantly, what might I lose? If I delegate entire processes to an AI agent, what happens to the rest of my skills? How will this shape my life? I strongly advise against outsourcing creative tasks, anything that forces your brain to work, to struggle, to connect ideas. Keep those tasks for yourself. Use AI as a support, not a substitute. Do the groundwork first. Dive into the problem. Explore it from different angles. Try to generate ideas on your own, and only then pass things on for technical execution, like polishing, formatting, or mechanical production. Personally, I've set a rule for myself: regular days of silence from artificial intelligence. Several times a week, I don't use any AI tools at all. I live those days independently, relying on my hands, my mind, my intuition, and my experience. And the truth is, I already have a massive amount of knowledge. Valuable, practical knowledge that I can apply to my work. What doesn't scare me is the speed at which AI is evolving. What truly concerns me is how quickly and how deeply people are immersing themselves in it. That's the real danger, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. Not to scare you, but to make you stop and think for yourself.